Okay, it's that time again, y'all. Episode 4 of Junji Ito collection. And you know that meme? The Gordon Ramsay, finally, some good fucking food. See, that's what I think about this episode. This is the first episode where I really feel like they got it. Like, the first one just felt like these kind of empty, these empty, soulless, very pragmatic copies that are more or less spot on, but don't always catch the spirit of what they're trying to get at. This one is a little bit different. First off, the line shading is significantly heavier, and that's good. This one is definitely more identifiable as a Junji Ito thing, and good show. Good show. I'm all about that life. The stories we have here are the titular Shivers. Yeah, I didn't think they were going to do any new stories. Wait, Shivers is a new story, right? I know it was in the collection there. I think it's right there. Yeah, in that collection there. But I don't know if it I don't know if it was a new one or not. Or was it just new to an American audience? I don't know. But the point is that's the one we have, where there is a story of a girl who thinks she sees bugs everywhere, but it doesn't seem like there's anything going on there. And this mysterious, creepy, not faceless but extremely expressionless doctor comes to her house every once in a while and she just starts screaming. We don't know what's going on inside there, but we don't know any of that. We don't want any of that. Now, my thought, if I see like a woman trapped in a house, obviously, and some mysterious spooky man is walking in, she starts screaming the second he gets there, I would have called the cops. Would have called the cops. What about you? Would you call the cops? Put in the comments if you call the cops. Go ahead. I would call the fucking cops if a woman was screaming when someone came to her door. Okay, so and it turns out she's developed these tiny holes on her body. They remind me of that scene in Madoka Magica where they shoot QB and he looks like Swiss cheese. Good times, good times. We're going to have to talk about Madoka one day, but not today. We're talking about this. And that one was all swell and good. Later on, more people. I won't, I'll keep the mystery alive for you, but there is a reason why they have these holes, and it feels vaguely, oddly not very Junji Ito, the reasoning, like the Doctor does, but I don't know. But it was a good one. It ends on a little bit of a weak note, which the manga also did. Also ended a little bit on a which is par for the course for Junji Ito, where the ending goes, bam, there it is. Okay, there are going to be consequences here, but you're going to have to deal with that yourself. Sorry, Bucko. Which is more or less standard, but this time it kind of pointed out as maybe not a positive feature. So there's that. And the second story is where things get real interesting. We're kicking up in a high gear. I noticed there's a powerful tendency for the second story to be the more interesting one. What's it called? The Doll Collection, I believe. I want to say this one was called the Doll Collection. If it's not, oh well. I messed up every other episode of this one so far, so here's another one. Where this family of people, they really like dolls. They have a doll named Jean-Pierre that I'm probably pronouncing wrong, but same name as the dude from JoJo. Polnareff, but they changed his name for the English dub because they couldn't use Polnareff, so they named him Jean-Pierre. Actually, no, Jean-Pierre was his first name, wasn't it? And that's what they call him in the English dub, and his last name is Eightful in the dub, but they changed Polnareff to be Eightful. But that's hilarious. I'm sure some of you JoJos didn't know that, so that's fun. I didn't know that until well after the dub. We'll talk about that later. They have a little puppet man, and there's something weird about him. He has a face kind of like the actress does, and that's no good. We all know in Junji Ito that's no good. So they meet the family that's, you know, who owns this puppet, this weird puppet thing. And hey, they're all controlled by strings. They're all puppet people. Woo. But actually, that's not the spooky part. They're actually pretty okay about this. Like, it makes living life much easier. You could do whatever you want to, by do whatever you want to, I mean do nothing. They can just sit there, and their whole bodies will be controlled for them. You want to be a ballerina? You can be a ballerina. All you gotta do is let these puppet strings do their thing. And it's not like a ghost doing it. Like, there's a pragmatic system of, like, guys that they've hired to puppeteer them. So that's fun, and they just play it totally cool, and the guy's like, whoa, hold up, you guys are being controlled by puppets? That's kind of wild. We should get the fuck out of here. There's something spooky going on. They're like, what? No. What are you talking about? Come on, man. Don't be closed-minded, dog. Be a puppet, my dude. Jeez, get with the string. You know what I mean? So then the guy's girlfriend kind of comes looking for him and, like, hey, wait, you're at this other chick's house. I'm going to try to get in there. I'm beating down the door. And, the puppet Jean-Pierre finds out. And let me tell you, that puppet is not too happy about this. Before this, it's been implied that it's just a non-living puppet. But that's obviously not true. And it turns out the puppet was pulling the fucking strings the whole time. Ooh. Ooh. Hey, Future Me, just put a little ghosto right there. Thank you. Unless if I forget to fuck you, Future Me, you fucking piece of shit. So the guy goes through this little action sequence where he's chasing down that puppet, and it's a pretty cool looking sequence because the puppet character does move the way you'd expect a puppet to, even though it should be just kind of gliding around. Ooh, which reminds me, this is the first time where I think the fact that it's animated actually has anything to add to this. Mostly because these puppet characters, they're gliding around, and it's a lot easier to animate something gliding than it is, hiccups. That's great. It's a lot easier to animate something gliding around than it is, for it to be gliding or to be running around. So that is one minor point in this one's favor, but when the puppets do have to have more solidified, less floaty movements, they look real good. And the guy beats the puppet and finds this weird X hanging around because Jean-Pierre certainly dealt with that. And the guy beats Jean-Pierre and he gets the fuck out of there. And that's just the end of the episode. Something I haven't been making note of is that every ending sequence seems to be a random still background image of, presumably Japanese wilderness or landscape or something like that, that has been like photoshopped over to be various different colors with characters from the episode that they're, from in the background. Like the first episode had Shinichi and the girl, the doll girl. The previous episode had the spooky boy and the slut girl calling around. And, that's been really cool. It's a very relaxing ending that makes the show feel very stylish, because the opening and endings are both extremely stylish and really cool, even though they're on a super low budget. This one also had a lot of characters not doing a lot of movement, which they all kind of do, except for that one bit with the puppet running. But again, this works in the show's favor, especially now that they've finally gotten to drawing those finely detailed Junji Ito lines. Like the Shiver story, the holes on everyone's faces were fairly well detailed and looked horrific. And there's even a shot of one character who has holes where you shouldn't really be having them, where it caused some serious anatomical issues. Well, I mean, of course there's if I had a hole right here, but I mean in the face area. So you're seeing how having a hole near your eye socket would make your eye not quite fit. So it's sort of dangling down and peeking out of a hole underneath your eyelid a little bit. Or, seeing how that interacts with your cheeks. And that was really cool. So while those other episodes get between C- and C+, I'm going to give this one a solid B. Which is weird that they wait until episode 4 to start giving me the good shit. See, by now, everybody's fallen off of this. The people that already dig Junji Ito, have already read it. So, it's not really stories for people like me. It's people that don't give a shit or, would find it more palatable if it wasn't animated. Or, if they'd find it more palatable if it was animated. So, I'm happy that they're turning things around from a kind of bland, dry adaptation to thinking about ways that this being an animated medium should be handled instead of just a very pragmatic one. Because there's definitely a lot you can add when you animate something, even though it's not directly, Okay, well, that's all for this time. Next time, it could be episode 5, it could be something else. I mean, episode 5 will come, but, could have another video come out. You might even see my fucking face. That'd be rad. Okay, go click on these things that are all around here. Go do it. I dare you to. Okay, I'm gonna look at you for a little bit, like I always do at the end. It's laundry day, so I don't have any fun graphic tees for you today. I like to make it a point to where I have a fun shirt for you. But wait, are you still here? Get out of here. Beat it. Chew. Go on. But I appreciate the dedication.